Ambassador Kethmori of the Galactic Council had seen many wonders in his 3 centuries of diplomatic service, but nothing had prepared him for this moment. He stood on the observation deck of his diplomatic vessel, staring through the reinforced transparent steel at what his sensors insisted was impossible. "That's not a moon," whispered his aide, Commander Vale Rain, her usually steady voice trembling with disbelief. Before them hung what appeared to be a small planet, roughly the size of Luna, Earth's natural satellite. Its surface was covered in a metallic shell that reflected the light of distant stars, and geometric patterns etched across its surface suggested artificial construction on an incomprehensible scale. Most disturbing of all were the weapon emplacements, massive cannon arrays that could have served as space stations in their own right, dotting the sphere's surface like mechanical continents. "The humans call it Terra Magnus," reported their science officer, reading from his frantically updating displays. "Scans indicate it's entirely artificial. The entire structure appears to be a warship." Kethmori felt his primary heart skip a beat. A planet-sized warship was beyond even the most ambitious dreams of the Galactic Council's military engineers. The resources required, the technology needed, the sheer audacity of the concept it represented a paradigm shift that would reshape everything. "How is this possible?" he demanded. "Our intelligence networks monitor all major human construction projects. We would have detected something of this magnitude." "Sir," the science officer's voice cracked slightly, "I'm detecting 17 more of them." The tactical display lit up as long-range sensors painted a picture that defied comprehension. 18 artificial planets hung in the void around the Sol system, each one bristling with weapons that could crack continents. They moved with deliberate purpose, their positions forming a perfect defensive sphere around Earth and its colonies. "Get me a priority channel to the Galactic Council," Kethmori ordered, his diplomatic training finally overriding his shock. "Emergency session. Classification: galaxy-altering event." The response came within minutes. Council President Thane Cool appeared on the holographic communicator, his ancient features creased with concern. Behind him, Kethmori could see the emergency assembly chamber, filling with representatives from hundreds of worlds. "Ambassador Kethmori, explain this crisis immediately. Our deep space monitoring stations are detecting massive gravitational anomalies throughout human space." "Mr. President," Kethmori began, choosing his words carefully, "humanity has constructed 18 planet-sized warships. Each one appears to be fully operational and armed with weapons of unprecedented scale." The silence that followed stretched for long seconds. When Thane Cool finally spoke, his voice carried the weight of galactic authority. "That's impossible. The resource requirements alone would bankrupt a star system. No species has ever." "Sir," interrupted their communication officer, "incoming transmission from the human vessels. They're requesting permission to address the Galactic Council directly." Another figure materialized in the hologram: Admiral Helena Cross of the Terran Solar Navy, her uniform bearing insignia that none of the aliens recognized. Her expression was calm, professional, and utterly confident. "Council President Thane Cool, members of the Galactic Council. I am Admiral Cross, Commanding Officer of humanity's Planetary Defense Fleet. I believe introductions are in order." "Admiral Cross," Thane Cool managed, his composure cracking slightly, "please explain how your species has constructed these vessels without our knowledge." Cross smiled, and there was something in that expression that made Kethmori's secondary heart race. "With respect, Mr. President, you never asked. The Galactic Council has always treated humanity as a minor species useful for trade, too primitive for serious consideration. We've been building these ships for the past 50 years in the asteroid fields beyond Neptune. Your surveillance never extended that far." The tactical displays updated again, showing the construction zones Cross mentioned. What had appeared to be standard mining operations were revealed as the largest shipyards in galactic history. Entire asteroid belts had been harvested, their mass converted into the hulls of planet-sized vessels. 50 years? Vale Rain breathed. The logistics alone. How did you organize construction on such a scale? Automation mostly, Cross replied. We developed self-replicating construction platforms that could work in the outer system without supervision. Each ship took approximately 3 years to complete, once we had the infrastructure in place. The first one, Terra Magnus, was finished 27 years ago. Keth Mori felt the universe shift around him. 27 years. Humanity had possessed planet-killing weapons for over 2 decades and never used them, never even revealed them. The implications were staggering. Why reveal them now? He asked. Cross's expression grew serious. Because the Zephyrian Empire has been expanding toward human space. Their fleet movements suggest they're planning a major offensive against Earth within the next 6 months. We thought it was time to clarify the strategic situation. The Zephyrian Empire, the galaxy's most aggressive military power, conquerors of 40 star systems, possessors of the largest conventional fleet in known space. They had been a constant threat to the Galactic Council's peace, too powerful to confront directly. Admiral Thane Cool said slowly, "Are you suggesting that 18 planet-sized warships could challenge the entire Zephyrian fleet?" Challenge them? Cross laughed, and the sound sent chills through every alien on the channel. Mr. President, each of our planetary warships carries enough firepower to sterilize a star system. The Zephyrian Empire has 300 inhabited worlds. We could end their civilization in a matter of weeks if we chose to. She paused, letting that sink in before continuing. But we won't. Humanity believes in proportional response. We're prepared to defend ourselves and our allies, but we're not interested in conquest. That's why we're revealing ourselves now, to establish new diplomatic relationships based on mutual respect rather than misconceptions about our capabilities. The communication channel filled with overlapping voices as council members attempted to process this revelation. Humanity had just announced itself as the dominant military power in the galaxy, but was offering cooperation instead of demanding submission. What do you want from us? Thane Kuehl asked finally. Partnership, Cross replied simply. The galaxy faces challenges that require cooperation. The void swarms from beyond the rim, the ecological collapse in the Andromeda spiral, the energy crisis affecting dozens of civilizations. These problems can't be solved by military force alone. They require the combined knowledge and resources of every spacefaring species. Keth Mori stared at the planet-sized warship hanging in space before him, its surface gleaming with the promise of unimaginable destruction. Yet the human who commanded it spoke of cooperation, of shared challenges and mutual benefit. The Council will need time to discuss this development, Thane Cool said carefully. Of course, Cross agreed. Take all the time you need. We've waited 50 years to have this conversation. We can wait a little longer. But I should mention that the Zephyrian fleet will reach the outer human colonies in approximately 4 months. If they proceed with their planned offensive, they'll discover what 18 planet-sized warships can do when they're no longer a secret. As the transmission ended, Keth Mori continued staring at Terra Magnus, watching weapon systems the size of cities track his diplomatic vessel with casual precision. The galaxy had just learned that the quiet species from Sol System possessed the power to reshape civilizations. The age of human restraint was ending, and with it, everything the galaxy thought it knew about power, diplomacy, and the future itself.